Good morning and welcome back to KSNT News here on your Monday. This morning we have Topeka Police Chief Bill Cochran here with us. Good morning.
Morning.
Well, thank you, as always, for being with us here on the show. Now, there's been several homicides and murder cases here in Topeka since the beginning of the month. We're not even quite halfway through the month yet, so that is a concern, in addition, of course, to the mass shooting that just took place in Kansas City, Kansas. Concern over gun violence, it continues on. What are we doing here locally, and should people be concerned about their safety?
Well, gun violence is one of those topics that garners a lot of conversation. And fortunately in Topeka, there's a lot of good things that are taking place. Local law enforcement and prosecutors, we're working with the Center for Peace and Justice along with JUMP, and we're working on that group violence intervention program. And that's really gaining a lot of momentum. We're making a lot of progress in that, and we're hoping to really get some things started with that coming up here within the next month or so. As far as our local violence, again, we are fortunate in Topeka in the aspect that our homicides are not random homicides. They're individuals that are partaking in activity that's not productive health lifestyle, and so involved in those type of activities lead to negative things a lot of times.
Yeah.
But gun violence is a big issue within the city of Topeka, and one of the things that we grapple with in law enforcement is last year in 2018 and now current, it's staying steady right now, 40% of our gun shot victims refuse to cooperate with law enforcement. And that's for a variety of reasons, but most of the time they know who shot them. It's not really a random thing. And so that's one of the things that we're working on. So we're also working with the PERF and working on how do we improve that investigation, how do we get people to cooperate and all that other stuff. So we got some really great initiatives that are going on between the PERF endeavor and then the endeavor with the group violence intervention.
Okay. Yeah, another big topic, of course, in the news was the FBI, which was in town last week for several drug raids. Yeah. That's a big topic considering the big Manhattan drug bust that was a few months ago, arresting 50 people. So give us the latest on that and what is being done here to really attack that drug crime.
Well, when you see operations like that, those usually start at a local level. Something happens locally, and as the investigation starts to expand and you start looking at things involved, then we bring in our task force officers who are assigned to like the FBI or ATF or what have you. And once we have those partners involved, resources will expand. And so the investigation grows, and so more individuals become involved. And so that's kind of what this was, one of those projects that started with something local, and then once the investigation started to really become much more entailed with a lot of different people involved, then our task force officers get involved and they were able to bring that nexus of our federal partnerships into play. And so those become very important, as we've talked about in the past, but also the important partnerships like what we have with the Sheriff's Office and the Drug Task Force. And when those operations take place, there's a lot of resources that come into play. And so we had our partners from Lawrence, Highway Patrol, the Sheriff's Office, Capitol Police, and I'm sure there's some others in there, the 501 Police that, that really come into play. And those partnerships become extremely important. That's why, like, the partnership with the Sheriff's Office in Jackson County become very important, because a lot of the individuals that we live with don't just commit crimes in one area. Yeah. They're very mobile nowadays. Yeah, so absolutely. Those partnerships become very important.
All right. Well, thank you so much for keeping us up to date with those two topics this morning. Topeka Police Chief Bill Cochran with us.